The Zulu people are one of the most prominent ethnic groups in southern Africa with a history that stretches back centuries. Their story is marked by powerful kingdoms, military conquests, cultural richness, and resilience in the face of external threats. The Zulus' historical narrative intertwines with the broader history of southern Africa, and they have played a central role in the shaping of the region's political, cultural, and social dynamics. Here is a detailed account of the history of the Zulu people, early origins and migration. The Zulu people belong to the larger Nguni group, a collection of Bantu-speaking peoples who originally migrated to southern Africa from Central Africa over a period of several centuries, starting around 2,000 years ago. The Nguni people are distinguished by their shared languages and cultural practices, and they settled across a wide area in southeastern Africa, including present-day South Africa, Swaziland, and Mozambique. Before the rise of the Zulu kingdom, the ancestors of the Zulu lived in small communities, farming and herding cattle. These communities had intricate social and political structures, with leadership typically based on kinship and clan ties. Over time, the Zulu ancestors migrated from various regions and began to coalesce in what is today KwaZulu-Natal in the eastern part of South Africa. The rise of the Zulu kingdom under Shaka. The history of the Zulu people as a unified kingdom began in the early 19th century. Before this time, the Zulu were part of a larger network of smaller Nguni groups, many of which were engaged in warfare and alliances with one another. The emergence of a central authority would forever change the course of Zulu history. In the early 1800s, Shaka Zulu, born in 1787, came to power. He was the son of Senzang Gakona, the chief of the Zulu clan. Shaka's early life was marked by hardship, including being exiled after the death of his father. However, his return to the Zulu people marked the beginning of an extraordinary transformation. Shaka's military innovations and leadership skills led to the unification of several disparate clans and the foundation of a powerful, centralized Zulu kingdom. His reign, 1816-1828, is remembered for both his military genius and his ruthlessness. Shaka reorganized the Zulu military into highly disciplined regiments known as impis and revolutionized warfare with the introduction of the ikwa, a short stabbing spear designed for close combat. His tactics included the use of massed formations and the element of surprise, which allowed the Zulu to defeat larger and more technologically advanced armies. Shaka's expansionist policies led to the conquest of neighboring tribes and the creation of an empire that stretched across large portions of modern-day South Africa. However, his rule was not without controversy. Shaka was known for his brutal treatment of both enemies and his own people, and his reign saw the displacement and destruction of entire communities. The Shakane, the crushing, a period of violent warfare and upheaval, resulted from Shaka's expansionist policies and had far-reaching consequences on the peoples of southern Africa. And the Efakane 1815-1840s, the Efakane was a period of intense military conflict, forced migrations, and social upheaval in southern Africa during the early 19th century. It was caused in large part by Shaka Zulu's military campaigns, which displaced and destroyed several smaller groups. These groups in turn fought among themselves or fled from the advancing Zulu armies. The consequences of the Mfecane were far-reaching. Various ethnic groups, including the Swazi, Xhosa, and Soto, were affected by Zulu conquests. In some cases, entire communities were wiped out, while others migrated westward and northward. The Mfecane also led to the formation of new political entities, as some groups adapted by creating more centralized systems of government in response to the Zulu threat. Shaka's sudden death in 1828 brought an end to his reign, but the Zulu kingdom he created continued to thrive, though it faced increasing pressures from external forces. The British and the Zulu kingdom. The colonial era, by the mid-19th century, European powers, particularly the British, had begun to expand their influence in southern Africa. The Zulu kingdom, with its growing power, was seen as a threat by the British colonial government, which sought to control the region. Tensions between the British and the Zulu escalated throughout the 19th century. The first major conflict between the Zulu and the British was the Anglo-Zulu War of 1879. The war was precipitated by the British attempt to annex Zulu territory, and incorporated into the British-controlled colony of Natal. The British underestimated the Zulu military and suffered a major defeat at the Battle of Isandlwana on January 22, 1879, where an army of around 20,000 Zulu warriors decisively defeated a British force of about 1,700 men. However, despite this victory, the Zulu were ultimately defeated by the British. The British returned with a larger force and eventually captured the Zulu capital, Umlundi, in July 1879. The Zulu kingdom was formally annexed by the British, and the Zulu people were subjected to British colonial rule. Although the kingdom was dismantled, the Zulu continued to resist British authority through guerrilla warfare and other forms of opposition. The Zulu under British colonial rule, after the Anglo-Zulu War, the British incorporated the Zulu territories into the colony of Natal, and the Zulu people were subject to British colonial policies. The British took steps to limit the political and military power of the Zulu monarchy, though the institution itself remained largely intact in a ceremonial form. During the colonial period, Zulu society experienced significant changes. Traditional forms of leadership were altered, and many Zulu were subjected to the system of forced labor, which included working on European-owned farms or in gold and diamond mines. Zulu leaders, such as King Dinuzulu, continued to resist British authority, and tensions between the colonial government and the Zulu people remained high. The Zulu and apartheid pedagogy. The history of the Zulu people in the 20th century was shaped by the rise of apartheid, a system of racial segregation and discrimination instituted by the white minority government of South Africa in 1948. While the apartheid system affected all black South Africans, the Zulu people were particularly affected by the policies of segregation, forced removals, and economic marginalization. During this time, the Zulu people became politically active, with organizations such as the Inkatha Freedom Party, IFP, led by Mangosuthu Buthelezi, playing a significant role in the political landscape. While the IFP initially aligned itself with the apartheid government in its opposition to the African National Congress, ANC, the party later became a significant player in post-apartheid South Africa. The Zulu people also became involved in the broader resistance to apartheid, with many joining the ANC and other political movements that fought for the rights of black South Africans. This period was marked by violent clashes between political factions, with Zulu and ANC supporters engaging in bitter struggles. Modern Zulu society in the post-apartheid era, the Zulu people remain one of the largest ethnic groups in South Africa, with millions of speakers of the iZulu language. The Zulu royal family, though no longer holding political power, retained significant cultural influence. King Goodwill Zwelithini, who ruled from 1968 until his death in 2021, was a key figure in preserving Zulu cultural traditions and customs. Today, the Zulu people continue to play a vital role in South Africa's national identity. Zulu culture, including its language, music, dance, and ceremonies, remains a central aspect of South African life. The Zulu monarchy, though largely ceremonial, is a symbol of cultural pride and resilience.